Welcome to this screencast, and in this screencast I want to give you a little update on my E17 review that I did I think a couple of months ago, and now the Alpha 1 is finally released and I want to show you what's new in E17. First of all, E17, the assistant that starts up when you first start up E17, which allows you to set your language. It allows you to set your keyboard layout, so you can choose whatever layout you have here, and it allows you to set a different profile if you want to, but I will stick to the normal one, the computer one, and the standard enlightenment one. I have the option to then set the preferred size for my window border. So I can set it and make it a little bit bigger if I want to. I can set the focus by either by mouse over or by clicking. I will choose clicking. Clicking here, I can enable compositing. So let's enable compositing in here. And update checking if I want to, but I don't want to. So what's new in this alpha release? First of all, you will notice there's a new theme. So they updated the theme, which looks a lot better, I really have to say, than the old theme. And you can see it when I open up the EFM, the file manager. Here you can see another very good designed file manager. You have some options in the file manager that are new, just like, for example, you have now the option to choose between different views. You have the grid icon view, you have a custom icon view, so that you can just simply put your icons wherever you want to. So also very nice. Just like on the desktop, you can put them, you can stack them above each other if you want to. You can see another feature in here. When I drag this folder on the desktop folder, it opens up the desktop in a new window. So I can drag this folder in here directly if I want to. You can see the effects when when a window is raised. For example, let me double click this here. You can see that it has, or when it's raised, it gets a nice bluish glowing around the window, which is pretty nice. And yeah, this is this. Then you have also the list view, classic list view in here. You can set a default view if you want to, so you can just check default view, and this will be then used for all the other views or the other folders, or you can set different views on each folder. So let me go to desktop, for example. You can see that it's now in this, it sticks to this to this setting. I have the option to set a background, of course, for my file manager, so I can set different backgrounds here if I want to. And I have the option to set an overlay if I want to. Also very good is now that sorting is now enabled. I can sort the files, case sensitive, sort by extension, by modification time, by size, and I can sort them directory first or directory last, which is also very handy, which is also very good. So let me switch to grid view icons again. You can see that there are some options available directly, so you don't have to go to the settings manager to enable them, like inherit parent settings, like show hidden files, like remember ordering of files, which is sometimes very handy if you want to remember the ordering of one file in one particular directory. Just like, for example, you have the downloads directory, you want to sort the files by date, by modification time, you can then check the remember ordering option in here. You can enable single click activation and secure deletion if you want to securely delete files. Then you have the file manager settings available here, so you don't have to go to the global enlightenment settings to configure this. So you can just simply go through all the settings in here. You can see there are lots and lots of settings, like also settings for file thumbnails. So if you want to just simply limit the use of thumbnails and the megabytes of the file that you want to create a thumbnail from, then you can do this. You can adjust the spring delay when hovering over a file. You can see it's about 1 second to show them a preview of this folder in this case, but this works also of course with files. You can have some device settings in here, like show devices on the desktop, mount volumes on insert, or open the file manager on mount. So all the stuff that you saw. But I think this theme is really, really beautiful, as you can see here by the sliders. This is amazing. So if you just turn the slider up a little bit, you can see that the brightness of the slider gets bigger. In this case, if you turn it down, it gets a little bit darker in here. So this is also pretty nice. Let me close this and let me show you also that you now have the option to create new directories and new files, which is also I think new. So you can create a new empty file if you want to. Give it a name, just like test, and with a double click it will open up this prompt. You can open it up then with your text editor for your favorite, if you have one, and then type in something in here. So this is I think there's this is not new, the actions menu, which allows you to set various different actions. In this case there's only the terminology terminal application built in here, so that you can just open up the terminal in this directory, which is pretty nice. Then there are some other options, like I think the really new thing is that you have now on the left the basically the bookmarks, or the most used locations like home, desktop, root and temp, and you can just drag and drop other folders in here, and so you can just open up them if you want to, and they also appear in file open dialogs if you are using one of the built-in E17 ones. So let me go to the settings. One cool thing I use very often is when I test themes, is switching between themes, and now you have the option to just either click on theme here to get the old look, which now has a better list view I think, and I also have the option to on the fly change the theme by just going in here and choose the theme that I want to have. I have the option to rename shelves again, so I can just rename it to whatever I want to, so that you can better distinguish between different shelves. This works also now. Then let me go back to the settings panel. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. You can see that there are different settings, and application theme settings is very important. You can check match enlightenment theme if possible, and enable settings daemon, which is new, which allows you, when you enable settings daemon, just for example, to automatically, the GNOME settings daemon for example sets the mouse cursor theme, it sets the icon theme, it sets everything up. Basically you can enable this settings daemon in here. You can set the icon theme if you wish to. I like Fianza better. You can enable icons from enable the icon theme for enlightenment, which will then also replace all the icons of enlightenment with the Fianza settings. You can see this in here. All the icons changed now, and this looks pretty cool. If I restart the settings manager, it should also have new icons, as you can see. Then you have the theming support that I showed you. Nothing really new in here. The fonts are still a little bit confusing to configure, I would say. So let me try to set fonts, a different font in here for. You can see I cannot scroll in this. I have to enable it first, then I can scroll. So enable custom font classes, and then let me choose Ubuntu here, and I want what size? I think 9 pixels is normal, or 10 pixels. Hit apply. You can see that it applied the font mostly everywhere, but you don't have the option to just turn off subpixel hinting or something else. like this, so it might not look as good as it should or could. So this is one perhaps disadvantage still. Perhaps this is coming, I don't know. It's pretty cool. So compositing, you can see I can enable different styles of compositing, the default one, or they are. Or what I like is the menu one, because it's very minimalistic in compositing effects. So you don't have popping up windows, you only have popping up menus basically with effects. We have the app menu, which allows you to set various different applications. You can create personal application launchers by clicking in here. You can add them, just create them here, set your applications, set the URL if you want to have a link or something like this. Icon. By the way, this application launcher that you create with this application in the desktop preferences of E17 work also with other desktop environments. So you can just build, for example, a new Linux Steam client is out. If you want to build a desktop file for it, you can do so very easily. Very cool. The next thing is favorite applications. You can set some favorite applications if you want to, that then appear, I think, on the right click on your desktop in the default settings. Then you have the screen option, which allows you to set virtual desktops, the screen resolution, and the screen setup. And this is something that got renewed. So you can see I now have running here VirtualBox with this resolution, and I can see it's running on 60 Hertz. If I have any other modes in here, I can just switch them. If I just stick or plug in another monitor, I have the option to just then reconfigure it here within the screen setup, which works pretty nice. There is still some things to it that might work better. So you have to right click, for example, to change the resolution, and if you want to just simply position your second monitor in here in this dual monitor setup or quadro monitor setup, you can just simply drag them to the left or above or down under on the bottom. And then with a right click you can then just choose also clone mode or expand mode and something like this. Then we have the screen lock. The screen lock allows you now to use set various different keyboard layouts. So you can set a keyboard layout that you can use for the screen lock, which is pretty nice or pretty nasty if you had if you're using two different keyboard layouts. Just like in my case, I have the US and the German one, the E one. And if the lock screen appears, then normally the German one, I think, is the default one, but you can choose the US one if you want to have this in here. Here you can set various different other settings, like the login box, where it should appear. Should it appear on all screens? So if dual monitoring, you can set only to appear on the current screen, or you can set a specific screen. You can set the timers in here, the presentation mode, so just like, for example, like a screensaver, but a little bit more going the way just like smartphones handle the lock screen. So, and there you have also the option to set a wallpaper for your lock screen, which is also pretty nice. So you can choose the theme wallpaper or the current wallpaper or a custom wallpaper. And yeah, this is basically everything that you can do here. In here, you can choose the blanking time, backlight, Windows geometry. There's, I think, nothing much changed in here. Menus, you can still switch between different menu styles. You can still choose which entries to show on the menu, just like favorites, for example. I don't have any favorites, so they're automatically not in my menu, but I can enable and disable them if I have them checked. Applications display name and generic name, or I can also set up comments. So if there's a comment for my application, just like for example Archive Manager, something like this, it will then display this also. And show gadget settings in top level, which is also possible if I want to have this. Up under applications, I can set various different application menu list files. So if, for example, I have the default enlightenment one. The default enlightenment one does not have any icons in the categories, and I think, I'm not quite sure, but the categories are not localized. So if you're not using the English language, those categories are not localized, at least in the enlightenment default file in here. But you can use the Debian menu if you want to, or the LXD applications, which I have in here, and then you get you should get, then let me perhaps restart enlightenment, and then you should have icons in the categories, and those categories are normally then also localized in this case. So this is one thing that if you try out the alpha version and you don't like it, you can easily change it here by going to the menu settings. Then you can auto scroll in here if you want to have some miscellaneous settings in here also, and yeah, this is basically this. Then you have language settings, of course. You can set the desk lock language settings again here. So in the lock screen, how it should look like, and you can set advanced things in here, as you can see here. If you have various different English desk lock settings or something like this, you can set them in here. I'm basically not sure why there is this advanced mode. Perhaps they're still working on this. Input method settings, also very nice. You can set various different input methods, just like IBUS, IMF, SCIM, or UAM. So if you have special input methods, you can set them up in here. Also have advanced settings if you want to, and and you can select an input method if you like. Advanced settings, there you have some power management settings, environment variables, and battery meter. Basically nothing has changed dramatically, so perhaps some syscon settings here again. So you have a default action for what to do after timeout or stuff like this, of 5 seconds, for example, to default action after the timeout. For example, so if your syscon is by the way this little helper line, which allows you to shut down, power off, suspend, or lock. If you do nothing for 5 seconds, then it will automatically do the default option in here. So you can set this one. You can set the icon size of the main, so it's now to 64 pixels. Let me set it to 25 in this case then. And you will see that, oh, the icons are big, aren't they? So these are the main icons, and these are the secondary icons. So I can set also the secondary icons to be a little bigger. If I want to, I also can set the, as you can see here, it's a lot bigger. I also can set the main icons smaller than the secondary icons. And then it looks like this. So now extra icons, oh, let me make it bigger. The cancel button or what? I don't know. There aren't any extra icons, I guess. So you can apply and change this. So this is only representative of what you can you can almost tweak everything in E17, and this is pretty cool. This is pretty nice, and this alpha runs very stable. I did not experience one crash so far, so it's really stable, no sick fault or whatever. And if a window just disappears or makes something unexpected, you can just go to the menu, click on enlightenment, click on restart, and it's just there again, so no problem at all. So edge bindings, also very nice. You can set different edge bindings. So if I go to the left edge, you will see that it switched to the left desktop. If I go to the right, it will switch to the right desktop again. So this is also pretty nice. You can add some other bindings in here if you want to. You have some key bindings as well, so you can set different key bindings for different things in here. Also tiling, I think, is possible in this new version, or was implemented, so you can just with one control hitting tile the window, or move this window in here and make it half the size of your width, and so on. You can see that I can also very good in this case change what's happening when I press my power off button, when I press my mute button, my hibernate button, or whatever buttons that I have in here. I can also set when I press my power off button or the power down button for longer, and how long, and choose different actions that should then run. Yeah, basically this is everything for this screencast. There are not so many new features in there, but it's stabilizing itself. This theme is just amazing, so it's 100 times better than the last theme, and I really like it. I hope they stick to this theme, because it's really professional and just really rocks, simply speaking. And yeah, this is basically everything for this screencast. I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, thanks for watching.